Professor Clark, I wonder if you could comment on an assertion made by the historian Annika Mombauer. She maintains in her book, Europe's Way into the First World War, that the reason given by the British government for declaring war, namely the violation of Belgian neutrality by Germany, was really a cover for the true reason, which was that Britain feared an unfriendly Russia more than it feared an unfriendly Germany, because of the subsequent fear that Russia would threaten India if it was not supported by Britain.
Yes, I think there's a lot in that, that, you know, this is this is something that's come out of all kinds of very interesting recent writing. It was something. It was a largely ignored feature of the pre-war scene when Fritz Fischer was writing. But the work of Keith Nielsen, Keith Wilson, Thomas Otte, and others has shown that the tension between Britain and Russia remains very, very vivid right up until the summer of 1914. In the summer of 1914, the private secretary of Sir Edward Grey, Sir William Tyrrell, is briefed for a mission to Berlin, which never takes place because the war intervenes, in which he's going to sound out Berlin about an understanding between Britain and Germany, because the plan is the British are so irritated with the way in which the Russians are managing their presence in Central Asia and Persia in particular, that they're thinking of letting the Anglo-Russian Convention of 1907 simply drop. So, you know, this is a world, as I suggested before, in which these powers have more than one enemy. And you have someone like Sir Arthur Nicholson saying, you know, we're going to have to fight the Germans so that we don't have to fight the Russians. You know, it's a question of whom do you appease and whom do you oppose. You can oppose the Germans and appease the Russians, which is eventually the course that's chosen, or you can oppose the Russians and appease the Germans, which is what they're sort of half-heartedly thinking about in the summer of 1914. So it's one thing or the other, and I think there's a lot in what Annika says about that. And it's just another reminder of how complex this world is and how difficult the decisions that these statesmen have to make are. And that in turn is a reason, I think, for not being too condescending. In parts of the literature, there's a kind of very dismissive tendency in the commentary on these people. They're described as, you know, out of their depth, incompetent, you know, idiots, this kind of thing. And I think that's misplaced. You know, we shouldn't subject these people to the infinite condescension of posterity, as E.P. Thompson called it.